What's going on, guys? Fish here, and I'm here to bring you a brand new APT that was found by Kaspersky in May of 2024. Their primary malware's goal is stealth monitoring, data collection, and exfiltration. What makes them interesting is they're using cloud for their C2 infrastructure. We're going to get into that later. But what we're going to do in this video is we're going to get into the TTPs, who they're targeting, how they got their hand caught in the cookie jar, and just some overview information of them. So without delaying anymore, let's get right into it. All right, we're going to kick this off with what actually is an advanced persistent threat, or an APT. Leonard Bergman summarized this beautifully, saying, an APT is a group of malicious actors who use various techniques to gain unauthorized access to a computer network and remain undetected for an extended period. Now, APTs can do this in several different ways. However, they typically are going to use malware to do these types of goals and to steal data, establish backdoors, infiltrate systems. Not every quote-unquote hacker is an APT. That's just not how it works. APTs have to do something large. They have to be a really formulated group, and typically they have nation-state backing, which means that the state of, say, i.e. Russia, North Korea, Iran, backs these groups and actually funds them, doing something with them. They're typically a large entity that has much more resources than the standard attacker. But from that, we're going to move into who is CloudSorcerer. As of right now, Kaspersky doesn't have much information about who they actually are. They're not attributed to anybody. However, they do know that they're targeting Russian entities. They are believed to be a new threat group. They're targeting the Russian Federation, and they've potentially been seen targeting a U.S.-based think tank. However, that hasn't been fully attributed yet to CloudSorcerer. That's just what some sources have been saying. They don't have any additional aliases. However, Proofpoint is tracking a threat actor. They're named UNK Arbitrary Acrobat due to this threat actor mirroring some of the tactics that CloudSorcerer is using that we're going to get into in a little bit. However, just like before, there's no positive attribution that has yet been discovered on this group. This group is still acting pretty freely. They have not been attributed to a nation state. We're still waiting for those details. We'll get them to you whenever we have it. Upon initial discovery of how CloudSorcerer was conducting their operations, Kaspersky was looking at potentially linking them to CloudWizard by the fact that they both use cloud services in their C2, which we're going to definitely get into more later, but they both targeted Russian government entities, and so they began investigating them very similar to them. If you don't know, CloudWizard is a APT group that has been tracked since approximately 2016. Their campaigns consist of Percormka, Operation Groundbait, Operation Bug Drop, Common Magic, and again, CloudWizard. CloudSorcerer may have been inspired by, but they are not the same as the CloudWizard APT. They're developing their own unique toolset that's completely custom to themselves. The malware code is completely different. It's led Kaspersky to attribute the threat actor separately, completely different from CloudWizard. And now, I know you didn't care about much of that part. You want to see what the TTPs are, what they're doing, and how they're acting. So we're going to get into that. So to begin, we're going to find the CloudSorcerer malware was written in C proper, not C++, not C#. Now they're moving down to the primary C language. The tool takes advantage of existing cloud resources to communicate, and that's how their C2 servers are communicating. They're using the use of APIs and authentication tokens to actually perform the C2 duties, which is being seen now more prominently by these APT actors. CloudSorcerer is just using it much more efficient than most. Now, GitHub isn't the only thing that they can use for their C2 servers. They're actually getting much more sophisticated to the point where they're using mail.ru URLs to actually do the same thing. They're using this, and how they use it is that the malware will read the page, the web page that it has, and it takes what's on the page and places it directly into a memory buffer using an internet read file call. Now, from what it pulls from the GitHub page and this mail URL and the cloud-based photo hosting server is it's able to pull commands down from what's contained within the website itself. And it's able to use what they called quote-unquote special commands that will get decoded by a hard-coded char code table. Now, I'm not going to go into the intricacies of the malware and how it operates, what it's doing exactly. I'm just here to tell you the TTPs. We're going to have a separate video who's going to go into the nitty-gritty and actually do some malware analysis and tell you what's actually going on there. One part I will hit on when it comes to the malware analysis, but it actually uses two separate modules, a communication module and a data collection module. They're chosen based on which process the malware is actually running in. So if the process name was deemed mspaint.exe, this was its data collection and code execution module. And if the process name was msiexec.exe, that is when it would initiate a C2 communication module The malware was sophisticated enough to look at what process it's injected into, and that determines what its actual primary goals are. That's pretty interesting, and that's something I definitely thought I could hit on, and I thought you guys should know about. All right, so let's talk about how this malware actually gets on your system in the first place. Proofpoint Security was able to find that spear phishing was used, and they were using what's quote-unquote a free mail account with a lure that would lure their victims in with a fake event invite. So from this, the recipient would receive this invite, download a zip archive hosted on acrobat-inst.com. I don't know why you would think that's okay to download from. It's definitely not legitimate. Do not go there. And then this zip archive was opened. A user would see a folder, and there would be 3 LNK files or link files. We're starting to see this actually happen a lot more too as well. They're using link files to actually start their malware chains. And this is how this threat actor actually performs their initial access. So now what I'm going to show is the contents of the zip archive. It's going to be a screenshot of what the victims would see. This is what it looks like. And as you can see, there's that invitation, RSVP form, and speaker bios, all .lnk files. So the flow from this would be the link files are going to launch a PDF or a Word document. So various components of this folder would actually be renamed in the process, but that's going to be beyond the users and what they can see. So what's actually happening in the background is it's going to launch an embedded executable file, and it's going to name it cache.temp. When this happens, it's actually loading a process that's reaching out to GitHub or TechNet, which is that cloud-based photo hosting server I mentioned before, retrieve the hex-style blob that we didn't get into too much detail, but we're going to talk about more in our malware deep dive and malware analysis video. That'll be coming in a couple weeks. And then it's going to end with a byte pattern CDOY. And this is the same as what Kaspersky reported. Proofpoint confirmed it as well, that they both witnessed the same thing. The CDOY is in both things based on GitHub, the mail.ru URL, as well as this cloud-based photo hosting server. So that is how they've attributed this group to being new. In terms of additional initial access vectors, a Proofpoint threat researcher, Greg Lesnowich, is quoted as saying a possibility of other delivery methods cannot be ruled out, end quote. So that's just stating that there could be different ways, but as of this moment, they don't know an additional way besides the spear phishing injection with the lure with the link files. Primary cloud infrastructure for their C2. From here, they're leveraging the public cloud services like Microsoft Graph, Yandex Cloud, and Dropbox. This is going to be its main command and control servers, and these cloud resources provide an ideal cover for its operations. It's going to make the traffic coming in and out of your network look like it's actual legitimate traffic. It's going to these legitimate cloud resources, and as a network defender, it's going to look legitimate. It's going to look like you're going to Yandex Cloud. It's going to look like you're going to Dropbox, something that ordinary users do. Now, what can a network defender do at this point? Luckily, Proofpoint and Kaspersky both published IOCs that we can use. I'm going to put a link to both of those IOCs and the reports in the description here, and I'm also going to put them here on the screen for a little bit. You can pause it, take these IOCs, copy them, and then use them for yourself, or just go to the site and get them directly from the site. That's what I'm going to provide to you, and I hope that you can keep your network safe. All right, guys, if you are still with me, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel. It's really going to help. We're trying to get this information out to network defenders. That way we can protect our networks, keep our nation safe, and just do the best we can for each other. All right, that's all I got for you. If there's anything specific, you want a specific APT, you want me to look at it and tell you what their TTPs are, what they're doing, just put them down in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. We're trying to keep the information we're putting to you current. We're trying to get as much information to the public to defend ourselves as possible. So until next time, stay safe out there.